This thing is a drivable cruise missile. There's no other way to put it. Hey crew, I've got the key to that 23 Bentley Flying Spur Speed. We are going to take it for a drive, but first, let's check out how it looks on the inside and outside. The Speed is back for 23, and now it is the only way you can get this car with the W12. This one has the Blackline Specification, which blacks out this grille, and the Flying B hood ornament. There's also a black accent around the cut crystal headlights with projector LEDs and LED turn signals at the corners. Those are above corner vents and a front grille. This paint job is called Midnight Emerald, or in other words, very dark green, where on a cloudy day like today, the color looks almost black, but when that sun hits it, it is stunning and contrasted perfectly by these Brodger Satin 22-inch wheels. I feel like that's the only way you can say it. Those are unique to the Speed and wrapped up in Pirelli P0 summer tires, 275 section front and 315 at the rear. Within those wheels are gigantic iron rotors, sized 16.5 inch up front, 15 in the rear, clamped on by equally titanic black brake calipers that say Bentley on them. There's a Speed badge here, black accents for the side vent and window trim. Stepping back to look at the profile, which is 17 feet long and stupendously stately, with the hard cut lines at the shoulder and haunch. Getting to the back, we find more B accents for the LED taillights and turn signals. In the center is the B logo above Bentley spelled out. And down low are two oval blacked out exhaust finishers around 4 individual pipes. There are very few ways to cause more of a stir when you arrive. Yeah, there's the Rolls-Royce Ghost, but that kind of screams money, whereas this whispers taste. My question for you, does the Speed model go far enough to be edgier than the standard Flying Spur? Let me know in the comments, and let's check out the interior. Opening up and looking inside at this Portland and Cumbrian green leather interior. This is the second Bentley I've had recently that was green on green, just had the Bentayga extended, and I'm not mad about either combination. This is very cool. The Speed model gets Speed stitched on the seat backs and a quilted suede insert. The rear seats are heated, ventilated, and massaging as standard. On the doors, there's leather top to bottom, including over this very cool diamond motif. Contrast stitching here. Seat controls are right there, including 2 positions of memory. This one has an optional Naim 2200 watt 19 speaker sound system. Fantastic audio. 2 tread plates, Bentley, and then Speed. Nice thick pile to the carpets. Stepping in behind my own seat at 6 feet tall. I've got more than plenty of legroom. The seat back's all in leather. There's a map pocket. Foot pockets are kind of narrow, but thigh support is still fantastic. Headroom. Oh, pillows. Pillows are so good, and I've got headroom. So it's going to be a super duper thumbs up from me. In the middle, there's an infotainment screen that you can eject and use to control everything you'd care about back here, including your climate. You can adjust the ambient lighting. Come back here. Raise or lower your sun blinds, and even control the Flying B hood ornament, raising or lowering it. And don't worry, if you've got kids, you can get this to lock here with the child locks in the front doors. Air vents there, plungers to open and close those vents. Then if you don't have a middle passenger, which you may not want because this is a giant drive shaft hump, then you can bring down an armrest with cup holders, even those are covered in leather, and a padded leather console, which has 2 USB-C ports, USB-A ports, and a DC outlet. Up top, we have a second sunroof as an option, along with physical controls for the sunshades. There are lights for each rear passenger, suede wrapping of the headliner all the way down to that point in the pillar. There are also vanity mirrors, hello, and back window shades, and one for the back glass. This is living well, very well. Let's check out the front next. As you would expect, the Flying Spur Speed has soft closed doors, so you never really need to slam them, but just, for build quality's sake, let's listen to the door close noise. Solid. Smart Keyless Entry is for the rear and front doors. Like the back seats, the fronts are heated, ventilated, and massaging. Same quilted pattern, same suede, same speed text. The seat settings are found here on the side, not on the door. You get those 2 tread plates, same thick carpets, some aluminum accenting for the foot pedals. There's leather all down the dash and door panel here, and leather all over the doors except for where there's what they call engine-turned aluminum trim. This is beautiful with the green. You have 4 one-touch windows, power adjusting and power folding door mirrors, 2-position memory, and a trunk release. Inside, we find just under 15 cubic feet of space. There is a path through there for skis, but you can't fold down the rear seats for more space. Power close and lock is on the trunk lid. As we move into the driver's seat, and I soft close this door. So satisfying. There's a suede and leather wrapped steering wheel with the 2 tones of finish. Feels great in the hands. We've got some physical inputs on the left and right hand sides, knurled finishes for all the dials. You can reconfigure this digital gauge cluster. There is a head-up display, stitched leather up on the dashboard, more of that gorgeous engine-turned aluminum trim, speed badge over there on the passenger side, and then a large touchscreen infotainment system, which is highly reconfigurable, quite responsive. It does have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. And that's not even the best part. The best part is that this is a rotating display as an option, switching from infotainment to 3 analog dials. This one for outside air temp, this for the compass, and this for a lap timer. And when the vehicle is off, it'll rotate 1 more time, showing you uninterrupted aluminum trim. How cool is that? All these dials beneath for the volume knob, for the infotainment selection, and for the tuner are knurled finishes, as are these 2 dials for the dual zone auto climate and for your drive mode selection here. There's leather wrapping around your B gear selector. You get an analog clock, more bright chrome work for the air vents. We have a wireless charging pad, 2 USB-A ports, DC outlet, and those wonderful plungers. Back here are 2 cup holders found underneath this well-dampened, wait, there it is, black gloss wood trim. It's real wood trim, so I'm kind of okay with it. It's still going to collect dust and smudge, but that's all right. This is just an adjusting armrest with leather topping, no console there. Visibility is decent. These headrests are very, very thick. Thankfully, we have standard blind spot monitoring with rear cross traffic. What a sumptuous, exquisitely decorated, wonderfully trimmed interior. How is it to drive? That's what I want to know. Let's do that next. All right, let's fire it up. Maybe that gets old after like a year of ownership, but for my week with this Bentley, every time the screen rotates over, I just can't help in my head I go, ooh. And I also love the startup sequence. From the time you hit the start-stop button until the engine actually fires on, it takes at least a full second. It's like, okay, we've got 12 cylinders to get going here. The starter motor and the ignition system needs a sec to make that happen. Our drive mode selected here will be comfort to kick things off, but before I go anywhere, just sit quietly for a second. What do we hear most? Because it's certainly not the W12. It's the air coming out of these vents. And I just want to show you, I am in the level 3 out of 10 levels. That's how loud the vents can sound. But I was at level 3. Still too loud. Like in a Rolls Royce, you wouldn't hear the air coming out of vents. Not like that. Not unless you're on max volume. Just a weird thing I got to point out. Press down on the V, click forward to go in reverse. That brings up a high resolution camera system. You get your bird's eye view off to the right. We've got a front facing view, side shots, super wide front view, and a super wide rear view. This one's great. for making sure you don't make contact with anything in your $300,000 sedan. Down goes the B into drive. Now for the world famous horn test. Ooh. Oh. So very dignified. Who could be upset being honked at when it sounds like that? Turn signal sound. Also, extremely gentle. What isn't gentle, at least not in the full force of it, is this twin-turbocharged 6-liter W12 motor that makes 626 horsepower and 664 pound-feet of torque. It's routed through an 8-speed automatic gearbox and sends power to all 4 tires. And yet, in the comfort drive mode, this massive motor is deceptive because it seems so benign. I've got so much travel to the throttle pedal before anything resembling urgency happens. And yet, you're not even aware of how quickly the momentum is building because it's so smooth. You've got 12 cylinders. With all of that, they can work at such a leisurely pace and yet propel this 2+ ton sedan with such little effort. And this is really the drive mode if you want to cruise in your Bentley. But if you're daily driving this sedan, the Bentley drive mode is where it's at because it sharpens throttle response just a touch so that if you're in traffic and you spot a gap, you can just give it a little more, so that you can make that hole. Yet it doesn't change the calm and serenity of the drive. And these seats emphasize the pleasure because they contour perfectly to your body, and they're like memory foam where they let you sink in just enough but support you with the right amount of buoyancy. Not too much, not to be firm. They just keep you coddled. And you can have a massage, which I'm going to do right now. Stretch, that sounds good. And let's try out the turning radius with the wheel fully cranked. Look at this. Just turns around like it's on a top. The rear wheel steering system pivots the car. That's standard on the Bentayga Speed. And at low speeds, it's turning the rear wheels in the opposite direction of the fronts to help you do things like that and make this highly maneuverable in a parking lot. And at higher speeds, turns them in the same direction as the front to virtually lengthen the wheelbase, make it feel more stable. The ride quality with this adaptive damper and air spring suspension is sublime. All of the road imperfections, including things like speed bumps, that in a normal vehicle you would cringe a little bit before you went over it, certainly at speed. This, you just take them. You just hit them, and the car absorbs it all, and you keep going. Only ever so often do you hear a mild crashy sound from the air suspension, but it's very, very rare. Largely, the ride is just stellar. Now we need to see if the speed is quick. To find out, I've got my handy dandy race box set up here, and to activate launch control in the Flying Spur Speed, you just go to Sport, hold your foot hard on the brake, pin the throttle, it'll build up the revs, then you let go of the brake. All right, here goes. There's 60 in 3.9 seconds. Zero hesitation off the line. Just a catapult of a launch. This all-wheel drive system has zero trouble getting all this power to the ground. And now that we can hear from this W12, what do we think of the engine note? It's not as raucous as the V8 that you can get in this car, but I think that it's more refined. Ooh, and I love the flump on the upshift from the exhaust. This thing is a drivable cruise missile. There's no other way to put it. Just putting your foot down. Squeezes you into the back of the seats. And that's just in auto mode. Let's try manual mode. Pulling back once more in the gear selector, operating these paddles. Little rumble, overrun. Oh, that's nice. Oh, it did upshift for me before I'm getting a red line. Don't like that. Not in this speed model. Come on. But I do love it. Listen to this. Those are the knurled finishes on the back of the paddles. And these tactile delights might be one of the only reasons you want to use manual mode, because watch this. I'm not even going to touch the paddle. Upshift for me. Upshift for me. So it's the feel, and it's also, I suppose, the sound of overrun that you can elicit from this motor. Yes. Now, can a cruise missile like this corner as well? To find out, I've got traction control off, stability control is on. I'm going to carry speed into this curve and clamp down hard on these mega brakes. Ooh, not a lot of confidence from the brake pedal, but we did stop. Turn in is quick enough. I feel the rear wheel steering system tucking us in. And torque vectoring at the back. Slingshotting us out. I'm going back for seconds. Yes! The stability at speed is fantastic. All of this weight being controlled the way it is. The active anti-roll bars definitely help. Those are standard on the speed model. The steering feel also was pretty decent. I had a good sense of what was going on in terms of grip from the tires. I would love if, hang on, let me, traction back on. Let's go into Bentley mode. I would love if for this speed model, they reworked the steering wheel a little bit at 9 and 3, so you had good sport grips to slot your hands into. It feels great when you're kind of cruising around, but your hands are bubbled up sort of the inside of your palm, so it doesn't feel great gripping hard going into a corner. The brake pedal feel, didn't love that either. It kind of gave out on me as I pressed really hard on. The brake performance was solid for this amount of weight. Being stopped from that speed that we were doing was good. So the performance is there to a certain degree. It's still a cruise missile. It's still a mega thing with a lot of weight and a lot of power, a lot of momentum that you have to maneuver. But the stability is admirable. Now that we're cruising on the highway, let's listen for the NVH level. So modest. Some wind noise, I mean very, very little of it at the seams. A gentle hum from the tires. Even on that louder surface we briefly passed over, still extremely quiet in here, and that's part of what you're paying for with a vehicle of this caliber. It's cabin serenity, and you're getting it full force here. You also have adaptive cruise control with a lane keep assist feature, which Does a little bit of jogging back and forth, but it'll keep you in the lane. It's not a hands-free system, so it will ask you to chime back in with your hands on the wheel after just a few moments. And now before we get into competition, let's talk fuel economy and top speed. So the fuel economy of the Bentley Flying Spur Speed with its W12 is 12 mpg in the city, 19 on the highway, and 15 combined. The top speed is 207 miles per hour. This is the fastest four-door sedan you can buy, and the starting figure reflects the performance and the cabin insulation. It's $261,000, which is 50 grand more than your entry-level Flying Spur V8. And the price as tested of this model is $323,000. As alternatives go, if you want 12 cylinders and you've got a budget above $200,000, then you'll consider vehicles like the Rolls-Royce Ghost Black Badge, which starts at $443,000. It makes 592 horsepower, gets to 60 in 4.6 seconds, has a top speed that's limited to 155 miles per hour, and fuel economy of just 14 combined. Or there's the Mercedes-Maybach S680, which starts at a much more reasonable $230,000, makes 621 horsepower, gets to 60 in 4.6 seconds like the Roller, and has a top speed that's also limited to 155 miles per hour while getting 15 combined mpg like the Bentley. Among those options, even with its manual mode that's not quite a full-on manual mode and a brake pedal that is a bit too mushy for my taste, the Flying Spur Speed is by far the most engaging and driver-focused of this little segment that I just defined. The interior in this car is the perfect blend for me of classic luxury ornateness with contemporary luxury technology. The ride quality is just a little bit beneath that Rolls-Royce Ghost, and the look is the most exciting for me. I think it's got great curb appeal while not having that same kind of Rolls-Royce red carpet vibe that you get with the Black Badge Ghost. It's the one I would choose, but I wouldn't recommend this car for everyone. If you want to just be the most relaxed in a sedan, the Rolls-Royce Ghost or the Black Badge model is the way to go. The cabin quiet in that is another level. The ride smoothness is another level. And there's just this sense of authority that you have when you drive around in a Rolls-Royce. Whereas the Mercedes-Maybach S680, if you want the latest and greatest interior technology and you want the most legroom you're going to have as a rear passenger, that is by far the way to go. But I want to know which you would choose. Would you have the Bentley Flying Spur Speed like me? Would you get the Rolls-Royce Ghost Black Badge? Or would you have the Mercedes-Maybach S680? Let me know in the comments, and I hope you guys enjoyed this POV drive review. If you did, please like, comment, and share it. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell to get notified, and I will see you again next time.